Hello coders, welcome back to our channel IASTech. Today we are going to be looking at how to get selected value from a drop-down in Angular. By the end of this video, you will be able to fetch the user's selected value from a drop-down list in any of your Angular projects. So let's coding. Alright, so here we have a basic Angular project that I have set up. I already have installed Angular on my local system and I have created a new project using Angular CLI command. And I used this command that you can also run if you don't have it already. So ng new and then your app name. Okay, so I will get rid of all of my existing code and I will remove everything from TS file as well to start from the zero. So the first thing we need to do is to create our dropdown. We will use Angular's built-in select form control for this purpose. So open the app.component.html and here first of all I will add a h1 tag. Alright, now I will create the select tag, add a template variable that you can name it whatever you want. It can be anything. Now I will add my options. Every option will have a value and here we will add the inner HTML of every option. Now at the end I will add a button and we will capture the click event, and then click on this button we will call a function get selected. So this is a simple select form control with three options values. We are using Angular's template reference variable dropdown to create a reference to our dropdown. This will allow us to access the selected value from our TypeScript code. We will also have a button that we just created that will call our get selected value function when you click on that. So here we will also add a paragraph tag that will have the selected value in it. Now let's head over to our TypeScript component file, and here we will define the missing function and property. So first of all we will define the function get selected value. Also I will add view child, make sure to import it from an Angular core, and then we will specify the name of the template variable that you defined in the HTML. In our case the name is dropdown, so I will mention it here, and then add a second parameter static false, and then define the name of the property and the type would be element ref. You have to import it as well like I did. Make it optional so that we can get rid of the error from TypeScript. And after that I will define another missing property that is selected value and type is string, and we will make it optional as well. Now in the get selected value function we will use this dot selected value. So we will actually get the value of the dropdown and we will save it in the selected value in this way. So this dot dropdown dot native element. So the native element is the property that is coming from the view child from the HTML. Now once you do that, this will give you direct reference to your native element in your HTML. Now I can use the value from that select tag and we will save it in the selected value. In our TypeScript file we are using Angular view child decorator to get a reference to our dropdown. This gives us access to the DOM element and its properties, and as I mentioned, this selected value property will hold the currently selected value of dropdown, and the get selected value function is triggered when the button is clicked and it assigns the current value of the dropdown to the selected value property. By combining these pieces you will see that when we select a value from a dropdown and click on the get select value button, then the selected value will be displayed below the button in the paragraph tag. So now let's run our application. So run the command ng serve, press enter, So if no project is running on 4200 port, then it will run on this port. Otherwise, it will ask you to use a different port. I will say yes. So now it will run the project on a different port for me. All right. Now this project is running on this port. If you click on this in browser, you can see it is visible. I will just improve some styling of the style of the select tag. Okay, now I will select an option and click on the get selected value. With that, you can see that the value is visible here. So if you select a different value, you will see that it is visible again by clicking on the get selected value. Another use case that I will implement here is that right now we are hard coding the options. You can get these options from the component class TypeScript file as well. So let's do that. I will define a variable, and the variable name would be options is equal to option 1, and we will have multiple options like that. All right, now I will use this array. Instead of hard coding these options, I will use ng for loop on one of these options. Let option of options, and here I will get value from option variable, and I will use it here as well. As we want to use the value from a variable, so I have to wrap the value attribute in the square bracket, and then here you will have to use the variable. Now if you click on that, you will see all of the options are visible. If you click on the option 4, you can see that new option as well. Another next approach that you can also try is that instead of having the array of strings, we can have an array of objects. So for example, id1 title, let's say option 1, and I will copy paste this object to have multiple elements. Okay, now I will have to update HTML. So here we know that this time value, the title is coming in the title property. So I will use title, and in the value I want to show the ID in the value attribute. So now if you check visually, we can see the titles, but if you select any of these, if you click on get selected value, you will see the ID. So now if you want to get the title of the selected value, you can do that as well. For example, here I will first, we know that this time we are getting the ID of the option. So selected ID is equal to this. So I will save it in a variable. Now I will get the option based on that ID. So let option is equal to this dot options dot find. So I will compare the ID of every option with the ID that we got from the input. And now I will give it the option, and this time we know that we have an object in here, so I will use type any, and in HTML I will use dot title, because we know that this time it has the type object and we want to show the title. Now let's try it again. So there is an error here. It is saying that cannot read properties of undefined reading title. The reason is that by default, when very first time when application is loaded, at that time the value of selected value property is undefined because we did not set anything yet to it. So as it is undefined, but it in the HTML it is still trying to access the title of that property, that variable. So we have to hide this element based on ng if condition that show this element only if it has selected value, otherwise don't show it. If it does not show this DOM element, it will never try to read the title property. So now let's try it again. You can see this time all of the options are visible, and if you click on the option button, then it will find the selected option for us and display the title here. Now we will use form module as well as our next case. In our next use case, I will import the form module in our app module. So we already have that. So if you don't have it, then you should also import it. And this time I will add ng model here. link it with a property selected value. And now we don't need this button at all because it will be updating the value of the selected value in real time, and this time it will be saving the ID only in this property, because if you add ng model on a select tag, then all of the selected value of the options will be updated in the selected value field. So here we are using the option.id, so whenever you select anything, then that value will be added in this property. So now we have to create a getter as well that will be selected title. Okay, so that getter will get the title for us based on the selected value. Now here we don't need this anymore. Actually, I will rename it to something else. It will be get selected title. And now we know that we are getting the selected ID from this dot selected value, and now we can, the other code would stay same, and with that I will return the title from the option. Make sure to add get here because this is a getter, so if it is a getter you will not have to call it at all. And it is throwing me error. Okay, selected title, so we made a mistake, so I will remove the get word from it. Now let's test it again, reload it, and if you select some option you will see that the selected value will be appeared in real time. And there we go, we have successfully retrieved the selected value from Dropdown. We have tried different strategies and use cases. So that's it for today's tutorial. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more coding tutorials.